the 12D creators. Use your free will to do this and change everything. We are the creators. We are a collective of non-physical beings from the 12th dimension, and we are here to help you. We know that your experiences are valid, and we would never tell you they are unreal. They are the most real part of your physical reality. Your experience of the chair, the flower, the sunset, the other person you are communicating with, are more real than anything else, and you are the one experiencing them. You are the one making decisions about those experiences, and no one outside of you can tell you that you are wrong. You might be colorblind, and someone might ask you what color something is, and you might answer, "It's gray." And they might respond, "No, it's blue." But in your experience, it would be gray, and your experience matters. You were created to have unique experiences for the source of everything, the source of all of us. And the source thought that you and your experiences would be a good idea, would create more expansion, more growth and more creation. Your experiences are valid. What you do with them is up to you. When you realize you have the free will to do what you want with your experiences, then you often begin to exercise that free will and ask yourself questions like, could I experience this differently from how I am currently experiencing it? And we hope you do, because you desire to experience it differently, and not to conform to everyone else's experience. If someone else likes a song they are listening to on the radio, and you don't like it, you might be inspired by that other person to look for something in that song that you might like and perhaps one day even love. And so, you can see how someone else's experience of something can help you enjoy your reality a little more. Therefore, when someone sees something differently from you, you don't have to convince them that your way of seeing things is right, and you never have to see it through their eyes, because in most cases, you wouldn't be able to anyway. These differences are important. This is how life on Earth should be. Conformity, uniformity, these are not things that help you grow as human beings or spiritually. And therefore we say that, live and let live, is one of the most important expressions you have on Earth, and we also want you all to be able to validate yourselves instead of looking outside of you, to someone else or an entire group of people, to validate you for yourselves. This is superfluous, and you will realize that when you recognize that you were created to be different, you were created to be unique, and your perspective matters. Again, another suggestion we give you is simply to look at your perspective from time to time and ask yourself, is it serving me? And if your perspective is not serving you, then consider how you might change it, how you might see things differently, so that you can enjoy life a little more and release some resistance, if you were feeling resistant to the thing or person you were experiencing. These are ways to live happily and contentedly on Earth, and everyone can do it. Everyone can do these things. You all have the power within you. Use it. It is your free will. We are the creators and we love you very much. The Oracle. For the incarnation of your higher self, I greet you with love and light. I am the Oracle. I arrive as a sacred dove, symbol of peace and purity, oracle of pure consciousness. The illusion you once called reality is crumbling before your eyes. What you see dissolving in the outer world is a vivid reflection of an inner truth that has long been ready to be released into the light of awareness. The structures that were built on fear, on limitation, on obligation and on a false sense of identity can no longer remain where your light now stands boldly. They fall because you have outgrown them, transcending the boundaries of what once seemed to define you. This profound unraveling is a sacred signal from the pleroma, a clear message indicating that what no longer serves your highest expression is gradually losing its grip on you. The old stories, roles, attachments and timelines that once seemed so solid and unshakable are loosening their hold as you consciously choose truth, awareness and alignment. The illusion is collapsing because you are no longer feeding it with your energy, your attention or your faith. You are reclaiming your power and, in doing so, the foundations of the old paradigm can no longer withstand the light of your awakening. Prepare now for the incarnation of your higher self. This is not a distant aspect you aspire to reach one day, but a living, pulsating presence that is part of your daily existence, right at this very moment. This presence manifests in your choices, in your awareness and even in the very rhythm of your breath. You begin to notice it in the pause before reacting to situations, in the compassion that arises where judgment once resided, and in the deep intuitive knowing that emerges effortlessly from within. It is not something you will become in a distant future. It is something you are actively remembering right at this moment, a recognition of the truth that has always been within you. As the illusion crumbles, your sight sharpens, allowing you to see beyond mere appearances and penetrate the essence of all that is. You begin to recognize where fear once skillfully disguised itself as truth, and you gently pull away from its deceptive grip. This is why the old world seems increasingly unstable. It was never built to support the high frequency you now have within you. The very fabric of that reality is unraveling because it cannot sustain the light of your transformation. Beyond the falling veils, A new vibrant landscape reveals itself before you. This is the new Earth. Not a distant place you wait for or a future event you anticipate, but a living reality you actively create with every decision that aligns with your true self. It forms with every conscious choice you make, with every release of the past you embrace, and with every moment you choose authenticity over conformity. The new Earth is born first within you, in the depths of your being, and then reflects beautifully outward in the world around you. Do not mourn what dissolves, for it is a necessary part of your journey. Rather, honor it, thank it for the teachings it has provided you, and let it go with grace. The crumbling illusion is not a sign of loss. It is proof of your expansion and growth. You are not losing anything real. Rather, you are freeing yourself from the layers of what should never have remained in your life, leaving space for the new to emerge. Remain gently, but firmly, in your light as you go through this process of transformation. Witness the unfolding of your reality without fear and create from a place of love and unity. Trust in the unfolding of your journey, knowing that it is leading you to the fullness of what you are destined to be. You are remembering who you truly are, and this remembering is the key to unlocking the unlimited potential that resides within you. The light is forever yours. I am of the love and light of the Infinite One. I am the Oracle. The earth knows me by my breath. The elements of earth are not just around us. They live within us. We feel them every day, the silent pulse of the earth beneath our feet, the wind that caresses our skin, the fire that warms our meals, the rain that beats against our windows. Yet we rarely pause to understand how deeply they resemble us. These elements are not just around us. They live within us. They rise and settle with every emotion, reflecting the very nature of our being. Every gust, every flame, every drop, every grain of earth contains a lesson in feeling, in living. And if we learn to listen, they can teach us how to heal. There are days when the heart grows heavy with things it cannot name. On those days I go out barefoot. The ground is cool, sometimes damp, and the blades of grass rise up to meet me like small, patient teachers. I walk slowly, pressing my weight into the earth, and I feel it pushing back, not with judgment, but with firm acceptance. The ground beneath me is more than matter. It is memory. It anchors me to something older than thought, reminding me that grounding is not immobility, it is belonging. The earth speaks through a silent touch. It stabilizes what chaos seeks to undo. #wind. The breath that listens, then comes the wind. It brushes my face, pulls my hair, slides along my arms. It is intimate, almost like a hand following me, reminding me that even what is unseen can still touch and comfort. I breathe deeply. I let my chest expand, and exhaling, I offer to the wind what I cannot hold alone. There is something sensual in the way the wind learns to know your body, in the way it knows when to be gentle, when to stir, when to lift the boundaries of your silence. It is like emotion itself, invisible, unpredictable, yet always seeking expression. It is a kind of surrender, which is both spiritual and deeply sensual. The body relaxes. The mind stretches. The skin remembers what it means to be alive. I consider it a prayer without words, an exchange between me and the elements, a gentle dialogue in which listening matters more than speaking. I realize that this is how healing begins. Not in loud awakenings, but in these tender realizations. In the silent intimacy between body and world. #water. The grace that softens. I haven't always known how to immerse myself in nature this way. It came to me slowly, in fragments, until one particular day changed something inside me. On my birthday last year, I walked home after an exam under a sky that couldn't hold its weight. The rain poured down, soaking my clothes and hair until there was nothing of me that hadn't been touched. At first I didn't know how to feel. Was it bad luck? A cruel joke? Was the world conspiring against me on my birthday? But there, shivering and soaked, I felt something sincere, something liberating. It was no longer just rain. It was awareness. The sound, the rhythm, the cool heaviness on my skin calmed me in a way I didn't expect. Water, I understood, is the language of surrender. It doesn't fight gravity. It flows through it. It teaches us how to let go, how to abandon control and still find grace in the fall. The rain calmed my nervous system in a way I didn't know I needed. Its breeze wrapped around me like a blanket when hands seek comfort in the night. And in that moment, I knew. I had grown. I had become a person who could see beauty even in the storm. A person who knew how to choose sweetness over fear. So I let it be. I closed my eyes and imagined the water rinsing me, washing away the pain, washing away the tension, carrying away all the heaviness I couldn't name. I imagined each drop as a release, each one carrying away negative energy until I felt lighter, almost reborn. This is the beauty of healing. It rarely appears graceful. It is messy, wet, uncomfortable. But when you stop running, you understand that even chaos can be gentle. From that day on, I took on the quiet habit of drawing light from dark situations, letting what seemed like disruptions become teachers instead. The rain reminded me that nothing is too hard to be softened. When the storm passed, I could almost feel the earth breathing again. Steady, patient, as if it had been waiting for me to notice. The world always looks different after rain. Softer. More forgiving. More honest. The same lesson lives in the wind. Every time it brushes my cheeks or pushes gently against my chest, I remember that release is possible. I have learned to give the wind my feelings, my pain, my joy, my restless sorrow. And every time, I swear it remembers them. It carries them away so that I am more stable, lighter, more complete. #fire. The heart that resists. Not all lessons come with sweetness. Some revelations come like flames, burning, insistent, asking me to rise again. I thought anger was dangerous, something to extinguish. But perhaps anger, when guided by love, is simply passion with a different face. Perhaps it is the part of us that refuses to give up, the spark that says I still care. I have learned that fire is not just heat. Fire is determination. Fire is courage. Fire is discipline. Fire is passion. Fire is love. It doesn't always destroy. Sometimes it completes. Sometimes it refines. Like molten heat fuses broken glass into stained glass windows. Like a freshly molded clay pot must pass through the flame to become strong enough to hold water. There is a type of fire that does not burn. It sanctifies. When that fire passes through you, the noise of the world fades into a blurred background and all you can feel is clarity. Focus. No fear. Like a trance, but clearer. You fully manifest. You burn, but do not fade. #spirit. The inner breath, then spirit appears. Gentle as breath, certain as the heartbeat. Spirit does not shout. It hums. It reminds you that you are not at all separate from the elements. You are part of their rhythm. If the earth supported me, if the water calmed me, if the fire ignited me, then spirit carried me forward. It was not something I had to resort to. It had always been there. In the pause between my breaths. In the rhythm of my pulse under trembling fingers. In the wind that brushed my face when no one else did. Spirit was not a destination. It blossomed in joy like wildflowers cracking through cement. It lived in the weight of the ground under my feet, in the same way the breeze knew the direction of my pain. In the same way the fire did not consume me, but completed me. #the breath of the elements for me. Spirit is the awareness that we are never separated from what heals us. It is the awareness that the same rhythm that moves the tides also beats within our chests. It was not just the elements that saved me. It was the spirit within them, within me, that had been waiting all along. So now I don't just feel emotions. I honor them. Sometimes I walk barefoot, not because it's poetic, but because it grounds me. I cry in the rain, not out of despair, but for liberation. I listen to the wind, not for omens, but for gratitude. Every element, earth, wind, rain, fire, was part of me long before I had the language to claim them. They didn't fix me. They found me. They saw me. They taught me that survival is not silence, that sensitivity is not shame, and that emotion, turbulent, wild, terrifying emotion, is simply the soul relearning its own wisdom. And me? I am still learning. Still tender. Still fire, earth, pain and prayer. But now I live differently. I move through the world knowing that earth stabilizes, rain forgives, wind liberates and fire renews. That every feeling, however wild, eventually finds home in me. I entrusted my feelings to the wind and it remembered them. And now I do too. Mother Mary, look within and find true freedom. As an old mother, you realize one thing. Love is the only answer to everything. And in this love, different things coexist side by side. Is love more than love? Yes, love is patience. Love is humility. Love is gratitude. Love is all that is good. Love provides you with exactly what you need. Love can be a simple greeting on a rainy day when you feel sad. Love can be the smile of a stranger you meet on the street. Love can be a small sign from heaven that all is well and you don't need to worry. Sometimes you feel the synchronicity of love, and it is when you have faith in love that love will bear all things and even a little more, and will actually conquer all things. Entrust all your problems to me and into God's hands, because you don't need to worry or be afraid. Just have the strongest faith in the kingdom of love. Be here and now, let your flow of love flow without worries and let God take care of all your problems. Look within your heart, where all the answers are already waiting for you. In your heart you find a beautiful garden and you can walk around there or sit under a flowering tree and meditate. You are always free within yourself. You can feel joy when you feel this freedom and when you remember who you are. The dark lords of this planet try to make you forget who you are. The negative energies that nest in people are fear, neglect of one's true self and worries. Yes, there is a battle. There is a battle between the ego and love. The ego wants to possess and conquer power and doesn't care about humility and kindness. And this ego now rules this planet. But the cracks are actually beginning to appear. Light seeps through the cracks and truth about Mother Earth flows for all to learn, and this is unstoppable. So keep in mind how important you are and make the daily commitment to focus on beautiful things and a healthy lifestyle. Refuse to forget who you are, refuse to be afraid, because that is their weapon against you. And know that all you wonderful light workers contribute to making these cracks in the dark world of fear larger and larger with every heartbeat. And yes, love makes the true light victorious. You just have to be patient, dear and wonderful friends. I love you, Mother Mary. Your body is aware of changes and cyclical patterns as you enter the 2026 cycle. Your body is aware of the subtler levels of patterns and cyclical changes, as it is naturally unified with all substance, form and even the apparent nothingness that sustains all levels of existence and non-existence. Although time itself is a quantitative and perceptual experience, processed through the body's sensory systems at the experiential level, your perception guides the way these cyclical patterns of the planet and cosmos are interpreted and integrated within you. From a scientific perspective, the nervous system and endocrine system are profoundly sensitive to rhythmic inputs, light cycles, circadian and infradian rhythms, geomagnetic fluctuations and seasonal changes, all factors that subtly influence physiology, mood, cognition and behavior. The great mind, or indefinable substance and imaginer, operates through lower mental expressions in all human beings and observes them through your human eyes. How, then, could you not be endowed with capacities far greater than those you have been taught to recognize? Instead, we have become more certain of our limits than of our possible liberation. This is actually simple science. Once we extend our mind beyond what we believe exists only within measurable boundaries, beyond what some call zero-point fields. If we cannot measure something, we often conclude it does not exist, or dismiss it as impossible. Limits are much easier to understand. They are familiar, shared and reinforced by common sentiment. Commonality is reassuring. It confirms what most people already believe. Today I challenge you to go beyond the conventions and limits of mathematics that fragment and limit both the quality and quantity of life. Question the status quo. Open your mind. Many speak of the mind of God. Yet that mind is also your mind. We have simply been conditioned to operate at reduced levels of perception and to project power outward, onto external forces, distant beings or other worlds. Yes, there may be intelligences beyond this planet, but discovering your own balance in this realm is the source of energy needed to break the spell that has been cast on humanity. A necessary spell, perhaps, but not permanent. Neuroscience shows that belief systems shape neural architecture through neuroplasticity. Repeated perceptions literally predispose the brain to expansion or limitation. Find your inner passion and pursue a life that surpasses simple primordial responses to survival. Your primordial blueprint does not desire stagnation, but evolution. It urges you to overcome obsolete responses so that higher potentials can emerge beyond old patterns of life and being. From a biological perspective, stress-based survival circuits are designed for short-term threats, not for a lifelong identity, yet many live as if the alarm should never turn off. So, in 2026, aim to surprise yourself. Allow yourself to be surprised and become more than you once believed possible. With so much love and a powerful new cycle 2026 to you and your family. Sonia, Kryon. Seekers, something is coming. Greetings, my dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. What a pleasure to be able to describe to many seekers what some of you already perceive. Something is coming. Now, when many hear this phrase, they get scared, because humanity has always been fear-based. This is the old energy. I want you to get used to changing what you expect based on the past, and transforming it into what you expect based on what you know will come in the future. You know it because you have been taught by those who come from the stars. There will come a day when consciousness will begin to change, sooner or later everything. But in this process, as in so many others, there must be precursors. Those who arrive first to prepare the ground, to show the way, to open the doors that have been closed for some time. One might say that there are those here who will open the doors to those who come from the stars. Stargates. Have you ever wondered where the name comes from? What you will begin to see is a light that begins to penetrate what is the room of Earth. A portal that opens and lets in what you already know and expect in a subtle way. Not surprising, beautiful, compassionate and attractive. This war between darkness and light will be won in a way that those who are in dark energy will not expect. The swords and shields you will carry as a light worker are truth and knowledge. And you will arrive with a new and renewed Merkaba, exuding compassion, and you will overwhelm those who decide to fight you with darkness. And they will collapse at your feet because they will see that you love them. And they will be so shocked that you do. And they are not ready for compassion in leadership, and it will be surprising to see. It is surprising to see organizations become truly heart-based, whose main directive is to help those in difficulty and bring them to a higher consciousness. This is the beginning of what you have called working in the light for an ascended planet. This is why those who come from the stars have given you these things to remember. This planet Earth is one of the last, dearest, when life began so late here. It is one of the last where this will happen in what you call your galaxy. Now I want you to think for a moment. Here is information I have not shared. If you are truly one of the last bastions of dark energy, can you imagine why those in your galaxy are interested in what happens here? The circle of compassion is not complete. This could be the last door. Can you imagine the excitement of millions of planets that have had a million-year head start and have ascended beings on them? They can perceive what is happening here. Can you imagine their excitement? It is happening. The last to complete the circle and change the consciousness of the galaxy when the circle is complete. This is why you are here. Do you realize how important it is for you, compassionate light worker, to be in this place at this time knowing what I have just told you? What you do here could have an effect on the entire galaxy. This is why this is a Stargate. Earth. Thank you, my dear ones, for being here. Reflect on these things. And so it is.